Does Trump know even a little bit about the scandal that his administration is caught up in? That's the question I want you to try to answer. As I have from two different interviews, one call-in that he did where he sounds really sleepy, a little slurry, and then one interview, on camera. And when the Signal scandal comes up, similar to how we got an indication that maybe no one's actually explained, or they explained, he just completely forgot everything about what this controversy is. This clip, before getting into the two interviews I referenced, gave me a sense that he might not have a clue, which is frightening when the president of the United States is tasked with deciding how we're going to respond to such a security breach as a journalist being added to highly sensitive strike information being discussed in a Signal group text, which is not secure enough to be having such a conversation. And now the excuses, I've heard a lot of people word it as we've shifted from the scandal itself to the cover-up, and the excuses are all over the place. Here's Trump seemingly thinking that Signal was a phone call.
That from what I heard, the man that we're talking about, who's not somebody that I don't think most people have ever heard of, he left. He found it very boring, and he left early. He got off the line very early.
So yesterday I thought, got off the line. Does he know we're talking about a group chat? Does he know? Because it's kind of important, right? If Biden had said the things I'm going to play for you amid a similar controversy, they'd be saying remove him from office. That's what Fox News would be saying. He doesn't know what's going on. He can't understand these concepts. Listen during this call-in interview. First of all, to the tone of his voice, very strange. But then he said, well, you'll hear it. If you appreciate the show, please do click the subscribe button as we charge towards, 1 point something million.
But let me just start with that piece of it. Out of a country of over 300 million people, how is it that Jeffrey Goldberg, who hates you, ends up on this Signal chat? Isn't that bizarre?
It is bizarre. And he's a, sleazebag, but at the highest level.
Yeah.
His magazine is failing. It's going to be out of business soon, in my opinion. It's bad. It's
going to be out of business, in my opinion.
In my opinion. It's bad. It's too bad we give it a little boost like this. But somebody in my group either screwed up or it's a bad signal. It's a bad signal. Happens too.
It's a bad signal. What does that mean? What does it mean? He doesn't know, but it gets worse. He then goes on Newsmax and he says somebody called Jeffrey. No one called him. No one called him.
What it was, we believe, is somebody that was on the line with permission, somebody that was with Mike.
What line?
Waltz, worked for Mike Waltz at a lower level, had, I guess, Goldberg's number or called through the app, and somehow this guy ended up on the call. Now, it wasn't classified, as I understand it. There was no classified information. There was no problem, and the attack was a tremendous success. So I can only go by what I've been told. I wasn't involved in it, but I was told by, and the other people weren't involved at all. But I feel very comfortable, actually.
Wait, the other people weren't involved? The people who were involved who told him that they were involved weren't involved at all. But it may be a bad line or a bad signal, but someone got off the line, they got on the line, and then they called. He said that someone must have called Jeffrey. He doesn't know what Signal is. Guys, this is what... So you have Hegseth out going, no, we weren't talking about strike plans. And then as I showed you in a different segment, boom, Atlantic drops the receipts. Indeed, they were specific times and down to the details of the weather and the method of delivery of the strike, which is really dangerous. That could just squirt out in any direction. And then you have Mike Waltz out there, as we also discussed, going, we're investigating how Jeffrey snuck on to the phone call, which it wasn't a phone call. That's not what Mike Waltz said. That's what Trump said. So then Trump's over here saying that. Listen, it's almost better for us because we can realize you're lying more quickly, that you're so bad at this. But how are you so bad at this? You can't all get clear on one story. And that's the other thing during a hearing that's going on as we're recording the show. day 2 of the emergency hearing, the responses from a bunch of the Trump officials is, I do not recall what was discussed. And you can tell they got legal advice that this could be bad. You mishandled, potentially classified. I'm saying that just to be extra careful, but definitely secret of some kind, depending on however it's classified. And you commit crimes there. And then you accidentally leaked it to a journalist because you're so careless of how you're putting together this group. And you're doing it on Signal, and you're doing it while you're in Moscow. Your phone could just get whatever hacked while Witkoff was in Russia. Anyways. And so then the people in the hearings are going, I don't recall where I was and what was discussed, so that they don't have anything on the record, so they don't perjure themselves. But meanwhile, someone still hasn't explained to Trump what happened. That's not good. The president doesn't know what's going on in his own administration. He thinks that they all were on a phone call and there was a bad signal. No, the app is called Signal. There wasn't a bad signal. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I said it's the phone operator must have plugged in the wrong thing. No, we're past that, Donnie. Think about this. Have you ever done email? Do you know email? Imagine you CC'd the wrong person. Does that get it, Donnie? Okay, you faxed it to the wrong person. I don't know how far back we got to go. Then in this Greg Kelly interview, Trump made this absurd statement.
No, but I took care of him. I said I was going to, and I did.
Is there any talk of, because they lost opportunity, they lost income, any kind of compensation fund?
Well, there's talk about that. We have a lot of people talk about it. A lot of the people that are in government now talk about it because a lot of the people in government really like that group of people.
The January 6th attackers is who he's referencing.
They were patriots as far as I was concerned. I talk about them a lot. They were treated very unfairly. You know, the thing they show is they show a group of 1,000, whatever it may have been, 1,500 people down. What they don't show, you never see the crowd that day. It was the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before. It went all the way to the Washington Monument. It was so wide. You virtually couldn't see anything else but people. They never show that. Whether it was 1 million people or less than 1 million, I don't know what it was. But, you know, I see Bernie Sanders has a few people out there. They say, oh, the crowd is so big.
What is he talking about? Yeah, there was a lot of people there. It's sort of like someone, how do you even... Like someone has a really nice bathroom in their house. They just renovated it. It's really nice. But then they shoot you dead in it. You're not really the police aren't that concerned with how nice the bathroom was. Yeah, there was a big crowd. And then a part of that crowd went and did a historic attack on the Capitol to try to overturn a free and fair election. Who cares about the crowd now? That they weren't, random people went to the speech. They weren't prosecuted, so why are you bringing them up? But did you hear what he said it is being considered? Maybe we should give reparations. We should give financial compensation to the January 6th attackers, to people who were prosecuted for January 6th. We don't have, according to them, we have to cut Medicaid because we don't have any money. But a lot of people in the Trump administration really like the idea of giving financial compensation to people who attacked the Capitol or who impeded the processing of our government, the functioning of our government in the interest of Trump. The Tesla vandalizers should be sent to the El Salvadorian prison, according to some of these MAGA folks. I think Trump referenced that. Yeah, he posted that. But January 6ers should be paid for what they did, he says. Then on tariffs.
But we've been ripped off as a country like no country has ever been ripped off before. I read some of these deals that are made by my predecessors, and it's almost like saying, how could anybody allow this to happen? Like, as an example, who would allow men to play in women's sports?
We were talking about tariffs. Everything comes back to that, doesn't it? Well, sir, the people who made the deals, the trade deals, The trade deal that we're currently operating under between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. You made it. You did. What? You're the predecessor. You're your own predecessor who did the thing that you said stupid. You signed that. Then on if there will be disturbances or if exceptions will be made for different companies. They're saying April 2nd, you're going to laugh, is the real deal now. They're really doing it, okay? It's like, I'm finally really starting my new diet, okay? Tomorrow's the day. And if it is, it's going to be bad. But, they've made this statement a bunch of times. Apparently, this is when the full force of the tariffs is going into place.
A couple of things more, if you don't mind. You're such a positive person, and I love it.
What? Is this still Trump in this interview? It's a positive person. I'm pretty sure his Christmas message was Merry Christmas to all the sick, degenerate, deranged people who want to see me dead.
A couple of things more, if you don't mind. You're such a positive person, and I love it. You even acknowledge that there will be disturbances with the tariffs. There will be disturbances. Question is, how bad could those disturbances be, and how far are you willing to go when it comes to April 2nd? I know there are some exceptions, and it's an ongoing discussion, but...
Not too many. Not too many exceptions. No, I don't want to have too many exceptions. Yeah. Look, we've been ripped off for 45 years by other countries, 50 years more. We always were soft and weak. It's almost like we had people that didn't know what they were doing. We were just ripped as a country.
You did the last major trade deal. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did. Sir, you're so positive. I'm still thinking about that. I know that you're so, you're positive and you have all natural skin and you have all natural hair and you're definitely the height and weight that you put whenever you were indicted. And I've never seen you play golf and you really have a great relationship with your wife.
And, I just want to see it stop. I also don't want to pay. Biden paid $350 billion. Europe paid
This is on Ukraine.
$100 billion. And I said, why didn't they equalize? Why were we so far ahead of Europe? Then I found out that Europe, as you know, took loans. In other words, they gave it in the form of loans. We didn't.
Nope. He's lying about the numbers. He's lying about the method of delivery of the support, as we've gone through in specifics over and over again. So that's the interview. He doesn't know what it is. Think about that. Let's think of like another, people are calling this Signal Gate. Imagine Watergate and Nixon didn't even know what it was that he was being accused of. It's wild. Share your thoughts in the comments.